It's Friday. Everyone loves Friday. At least I know I do. Today we'll be discussing something that is very dear to your heart: jobs. Much as government is the biggest employer, it is unable to employ everyone who needs a job, which is why the private sector comes in. The jobs generated by the private sector is created by entrepreneurs, people who take the risk to bring the factors of production, land, capital, and labor to produce something society wants and is willing to pay for it. It's a tough role which comes with many risks. Some entrepreneurs have made it in Ghana, some are struggling, and some have failed. This morning, we have assembled some entrepreneurs who have stories to share. Pick up your notebooks, jot things down, and learn something. Also, on a lighter side, we will be trying to understand the craze of posting your partner's photos on social media handles. Is the practice a show of love or show off? Whichever it is creating problems in relationships. You don't want to miss out on this one. I'm Israeli, and I'll be doing this with Inimwa Enimado. Good morning, and welcome to the AM Show. You're welcome to the AM News. And Ghana has so far expended over 10 billion cedis on the fight against COVID-19. In the last 8 months of 2020, Ghana's COVID expenditure summed up to 8.1 billion cedis. From January to June 2021, an additional 2.3 billion cedis was spent. Now, let's take a look at where we are now as far as the COVID statistics is concerned. So for the new cases on the Ghana Health Service dashboard, we have 82 new cases. We have 2,696 active cases. Confirmed cases, 128,368. The deaths are now at 1,158. The active cases, as you can see, are still quite high. Now, the World Health Organization in Africa is warning of a possible fourth wave in COVID-19 infections across the continent. The organization says the mass movement of people coupled with the unavailability of vaccines will be a huge driver in the expected spike in cases. It adds that only about 4.9% of Africans are fully vaccinated, leaving a majority of the continent's population vulnerable. Dr. Matshidiso Moeti is the regional director of the World Health Organization Regional Office for Africa. She spoke at a media press briefing Thursday.
What we know is that very likely there will be cases going up again. At the moment, cases are going down in most countries, but we see them going up in some other countries as well at the same time. So I think we cannot say that the pandemic is disappearing, not by any means. And as I said in my remarks, we can probably anticipate that there'll be a wave of cases going up at the end of the year, because that's when people have a break for the festive season. They go home, they gather and travel. And as the situation where we are now, with the level of vaccination relatively low, and the situation also of the fact that in many places, people are tired of the prevention measures. You know, there's a need to re-engage them on sustaining the use of masks when you are going to be in contact with people, keeping a distance, those public health measures that we have talked about many times. So that combination of factors, we believe, and the fact that there are variants emerging all the time, and some of the variants we have seen are more liable to, are more infectious, if you like. One person can infect more people than others. So as long as we are in a situation where the vaccination rates are relatively low, public health measures, preventive measures are needing to be reinforced. Things like this community-based testing using rapid diagnostic tests. So I believe we increasingly have the tools at our disposal, and this initiative we're talking about today will be a very important possible way of preventing or being able to contain an upward surge that we are absolutely expecting towards the end of the year during the course of the festive season. So we are not at all seeing the pandemic disappearing, and we must work very hard to get the vaccination rates up, very hard to get our knowledge at the local level of where the virus is circulating, and then to reinforce the prevention measures.
Police in Kaswa have arrested 2 men, allegedly a gay couple, after one inflicted cutlass wounds on his partner for alleged cheating. Kaswa New Market Police have identified the two as Prince, 22, and Evans, 23 years. Joy News understands the stabbing incident happened after Prince found out that his partner Evans had a girlfriend. Police sources say the two men work in a restaurant at the Kaswa New Market. In an interview with the Doom News, one of the workers who witnessed the incident revealed that Prince's anger stemmed from the fact that Evans had consistently denied him sex.
I will put in the way in the Okoba kind of cripple the can have you. Or also no more shade the way. The fear. Don't fear. But now they said they had not done the is a do so. They do so. Oh, God is no biasing. Or yourself. No, we call the local. Papa,
the minority chief whip, Mohammed Murtaga Mubarak, as Muasef noticed, his side will stage demonstrations and force the closure of diplomatic missions operating in Ghana that victimize MPs opposed to activities of the LGBTQ movement. This comes on the back of threats by some embassies that they will deny visas to MPs supporting the bill. Speaking on Kumasi-based radio station Ebusia FM, the Aswase MP condemned the threat and warned no amount of intimidation will stop Parliament from passing the bill.
Say any embassy that uses this specifically, say because of we say be a Sam George, visa, we will organize a demonstration to close that embassy.
Hey.
Yes. You can't come and impose your
more commitment.
Yes. We won't you can't come and impose your culture on us. If you will tell us, say, the reason why you won't give Sam George, you won't give honorable this, honorable that, because when him say Ghana Constitution, say me as a member of Parliament, the American will flow no biano. You can't hold me responsible anywhere. So if you want to use that, then you cannot be in our country. We will have to demonstrate until the foreign ministry closes down that ministry, that embassy. You can't come and sit in our country and do what you want. We are not forcing you say, yeah, pay, but you won't mean be share so. But also, what I say, members of Parliament from our country cannot visit your country. We will also ensure that nobody from your country can visit our country. That's why I like Nigeria. Nigeria is very, very emphatic about that. You put a sanction, they put similar. We are sending notice to our foreign ministry. Be ready. Anybody, any embassy that thinks they can use this as a way of threatening any of our members of Parliament, our foreign ministry will insist that embassy leaves, shut down and leaves.
I see.
Or the same measure should be put. So, okay, say you will not allow Ghanaians to go there because of the law I pass. We shouldn't allow any of their citizens to also come to our country.
On his part, majority leaders H.M. Sibbons who urged interest groups to offer constructive inputs devoid of emotions and threats. He told Evans Mensah on PM Express only a frank discussion will get the best out of the bill.
Ghanaians have our own unique upbringing, our own set of values. You know what is right and what is wrong. We distinguish what is right from what is wrong. So we know what is right by our own upbringing. I belong to the Assemblies of God Church. I'm a Christian. I will not pretend that my upbringing has not been impacted by Christianity. Equally so for my colleagues who are Muslims. They come from various ethnic backgrounds and brought up traditionally and culturally within the context of Ghanaian upbringing. So we know what is right and we know what is wrong. And I'm not too sure that I know of any ethnic group in this country that applauds what discussion is going on. But unfortunately, we are introducing into this discourse emotions and sentiments, which I think is very much unnecessary, with all the threats that are being poured into the arena.
Which threats?
Oh, people saying that we'll chase members of parliament with buttons and cudgels if they don't pass this law and so on. I think
Vote you out?
It's not necessary. Is it the case that, and people, somebody was even saying that, oh, we should telecast the discourse so people get to know who will be voting against what and so on. It means, you see, the people, some of them, they're not even following the conduct of business in Parliament. There's never been an occasion when in the consideration of any bill, we've shrouded it in secrecy. Everything is done in the open.
Hope is eluding pupils of Bremang Jamra DA Basic School as help is yet to reach them for the reconstruction of their dilapidated school block, which has become a death trap. The current building in which they study has developed cracks. The roof is leaking and the classroom is overcrowded because a weaker portion had to be collapsed to prevent any disaster, forcing school authorities to cramp 2 classes into one space. One of the pupils could not hold back his frustration as he opened up to join us during a visit to the school as part of the multimedia group's classroom project.
This building has become dangerous and it can harm our life. It has happened before where a lot of people 6 people die at Matidi school. It has made it dangerous for us. Even when we are studying, we are worried because we don't know the time that it will break and kill us. That is why we want the government to help us and construct a new building for us. I think the building can collapse at any time, and it can harm a lot of people. And this one also, and when this happens, it can lead to it can destroy a lot of people's studying and people education. When we are studying in class and we look around ourselves and a lot of cracks are in the building, we feel like not coming to school because how it has been. We don't know the time the building will collapse and something will happen to us. That is why when we look around ourselves, but we have comfortable in us that we'll achieve our aim and build this building if nobody mind us.
Right, so you can put a smile on the faces of this gentleman, be the miracle that the young boy has been waiting for on the classroom project. For all your Momo transactions, the number is 059-303-8832 or Access Bank account number 009-010-105-4191. The branch code is 009 and the SWIFT code is right there as you can see it on your screen. We are not handing over power to the opposition NDC today or tomorrow. That's according to the Director of Operations at the Presidency, Lord Comey. Mr. Comey, who spoke on behalf of the President at the Greater Accra Regional Delegates Conference, observed that President Akufo-Addo is incensed over the pettiness and internal bickering which led to the loss of parliamentary seats in the 2020 elections. He added that the President is interested in handing over power to an MPP candidate and not the opposition NDC. Listening to him charging the supporters to work to ensure the party retains power in 2024.
When ex-President J.J. Rawlings, the Western world was putting pressure on him. It is time to hand over to a democratic rule in Ghana. He says, hand over to whom? And I'm Refiana. There was a certain first lady in this country who is still alive. At a point, he told us openly, plain language, was say yeah, pa kongat naswa MPP for yanko Kumasi magazine na yanko shishebi enfama je kufo manti ana. It tells you that what you call power. Hey, me say adia ya friend to me. Say nyame ya wadom na se wo som say na se wan som ya adia be ye wo no. Me say adia be ye wo no. Me say I don't care who becomes national chairman. I don't care who becomes flag bearer. What I care is that the MPP continues to rule in this country. Power. It and see the pettiness and some who here and talk on who when you be so and the beyond now was open. Never again, Mr. Chairman, is what we should resolve leaving this conference this afternoon. Never again that this thing would ever happen to the New Patriotic Party. Charge you. Break the earth, break the earth, break the earth. I done this slogan. Me am Jina Hedi. So far as I live, me dem mean break it biao. To me no, me say me mfa ma wo mo ne, me mfa ma wo mo china. Me ne earth bia me break it. Me twaso, me say me yadai. Catch the wood and say ya twaso yadai. Member break it bia. As if there is something indeed to break. We have the power. What is left is for us to sustain the power. We have a president who now says, I would hand over to the next MPP presidential candidate as president of the Republic of Ghana.
Now, Lord Comey has been explaining his comments. According to him, the charge is for supporters to work to ensure the party retains power in 2024.
What is undemocratic about it?
You want to hold on to power at all costs?
Of course, but power, if you have power, why do you want to give it out?
So then people want to hold on to power at all
costs? Of course, it's not at all costs. Okay, first of all, you should understand that I am addressing the party officers, right. And they are the movers and shakers of our party at the grassroots level. They can't make a mistake out of their own pettiness, out of anger, out of laziness, out of whatever vices that could put them together towards holding on to power. Because the Constitution allows the New Patriotic Party to continue to hold on to power as long as the good people of Ghana would give us. So there's nothing wrong about it.
But he lamented about the pettiness and the intolerance.
Absolutely.
Is that a threat to the breaking of the eight?
Well, there's no eight to be broken. And I've said it. the good people of this country has given us the mandate. Okay, the mandate is renewable every 4 years. We've gone for the first 4 years, they renewed it. We came in again, they renewed it. We would go in again, and I'm sure they will renew it. The only challenge here is that it's important that as a party, we close our ranks. And this is what I'm charging them to do.
At the same event, Regional Minister Henry Quartey cautioned the supporters against comments which have the potential to threaten the party's quest in breaking the 8-year electoral cycle.
What you said today, you come face to face with it 2024 when you're in a position of defending the party. The Obeka and no opposition, the year campaign. No more they started campaign. Shena and Yawaya. Hello? Social media has become a platform for us to be insulting elders of the party. Social media. Oh, my. We wash our dirty linens on the platform. There has to be some discipline in the party. Discipline. Constituency chairman, you need to go back and instill discipline in the party. I have told the regional chairman, I have told the regional secretary, if people misbehave, suspend them. Okay, I'm a Bafite party and yes, suspend them. Replace them. By the grace of God, we shall soldier on. Name Mumshe. Now started to say, one no kasa. Say, by the time we get to that destination, we should arrive in peace and not in pieces. Muko do final destination no amunche. Na nkoyesa ya kodu aye muachichesa. Then you cannot break the eights. You cannot continue. Shewa no kasa. Mind your language. Your power no. Enya fe ni ekope. Enti wo say aka hunu say power no na wo say no.
Well, General Secretary of the party, John Boadu, says in spite of the issues which affected the fortunes of the MPP in the last election, he is confident the party will achieve its 2024 target.
I believe that, the essence of this meeting. The essence is clearly to deliberate on matters that affect the party. And as part of the deliberation, we took stock of our performance in 2020. And clearly, we had 21 seats in 2020, before 2020 elections. We ended up with 14. We lost 7. And these reasons for the loss are not far to be found. We've done our own research and review of those constituencies, and we believe that with the admonition from leadership of the party, our party officers will understand that when a decision is taken, because out of the 7 that we lost, in 6 of those constituencies, we had primaries for our polling station executives, our electoral area coordinators, and our constituency executives to determine who, in their view, should be our candidates. But matters arising out of the primaries were not able to subside. So it is an admonition, and we believe that our party people will take it in good faith for us to come back home and work together to ensure victory for 2024.
But are this threatening the breaking of the 8th agenda by the NPP?
No. It is rather strengthening their resolve that never again are they going to carry out matters arising out of primaries to elections, and also be able to work together. Because I remember I was in the house in Adenta, then somebody came from Ablekuma Central to ask for school fees for the daughter. I said, it's because you voted skirt and blouse. If you had your MP there, you move from Ablekuma Central to Adenta for me to take care of your school fees. And I think that everybody in this party is seeing the effects of what they did. And I believe that is going to serve as a deterrent for all of us to make sure that we forgive ourselves when there are even challenges.
And that'll be it for the AM News. The show continues. Stay tuned in. Once again, and it's time for the news review with myself and Nimwe Nimadu Ashichomi. Good morning too.
Hi, morning. How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm a little tired.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just been, one of those weeks, where you're not getting to bed early, and all of that.
It's a Friday.
Yes, I'm looking. I'm not actually sleeping. I'm working this weekend. So, but anyways, yeah, we'll try and get some rest. And you should too if you're tired, because, getting burned out is a thing.
Give me the daily graphic.
I noticed, what did I do to deserve the honor?
You're adorable, that's all.
Oh, Israel, so sweet. Okay, let's start with a daily graphic this morning. Front page, Finance Minister and Youth brainstorm today. Well, that's happening at, I think, UPSA, and we'll be carrying it live on Joy 99.7 FM, so you can catch that. It's from 10:30 this morning. Government to develop 150,000 hectares grazing reserves. VAT scarce exploration firms, CEO, Ghana Chamber of Mines, and request information to test RTI law. Former Offensive South MP tells public. Okay, so let's just do a quick overview of everything that's happening inside Africa. Former Congolese police chief confesses to murder. What is MON without EY? That's great spelling of money. President, 2 others to champion election of ECOWAS Parliament members. Ghana, Japan sign MOU to improve healthcare delivery. NPP 2024, Baumia or Allen. Help eliminate cracks from the system. Minister urges health regulatory bodies. World remit is fraudulent. That's according to the Bank of Ghana. I'm sure maybe you've gotten, those text messages. They're coming through on groups, where somebody is offering that you join this business that has to do with world remit. Even some people are getting text messages where they are being told that they've been credited with certain amounts of money. The Bank of Ghana is saying that it is fraudulent. It's a scam. So don't get pulled into it in any way. If possible, just block the number as well.
So yesterday, I read the advertiser's announcement put out by the Bank of Ghana. Today, Nimwa has reiterated it. So I hope you're not going to fall for it.
Yeah.
And they come back and cry and say,
oh, wow. Okay, Israel.
Well, yeah, they do that.
I know.
Yeah, they'll come and they'll say, Joy News, we have a problem. These people have a...
I know, right? COVID-19, Nigerian civil servants to show proof of vaccination. Okay, NPP, the Baomiao Allen. That's a question that I think even if you're not NPP, you definitely want to find out who is going to be the flag bearer for the NPP. And of course, it's forefront of our minds, Baumia or Allen. So it should be interesting to see how that plays out. Pandemic fuels sharp rise in global hunger. So nearly 50 countries are dealing with serious hunger levels as 320 million people, lost access to adequate food last year. A newly released index shows. Ghana, Japan signed MOU to improve healthcare delivery and attaining food security. The buffer stock is calling for renewed commitment. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I remember that earlier on, I think it was last month or so, we had these conversations with the Peasant Farmers Association and the agricultural people as well. And, they did mention that, because of the fact that there had been a lack of fertilizer and also I think the rains and all of that, we hadn't produced as much food. And also because the surrounding countries are not willing to give us some food as well, because I guess everybody's kind of hoarding, so we could expect a little bit of scarcity maybe around Christmas time. And the minister came out and said that, no, actually we're fine, yes, we don't have as much, but there's no problem there. Well, no, the buffer stock is calling, the National Food Buffer Stock Company is calling for renewed commitment among stakeholders towards the attainment of food security in the country as Ghana joins the rest of the world to commemorate this year's World Food Day today. So we'll see that plays out. But since it's World Food Day, happy World Food Day. I know that this has nothing to do with World Food Day, but what's your favorite food that you like to eat, especially on a Friday or on the weekends? Are you a fufu joint at 7 a.m. person? And so, I discovered a few weeks ago that there are fufu joints that have fufu ready by 7 a.m.
Okay. But
you didn't know that?
No, I'm aware that there are joints like that.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, so amazing.
Fantastic?
Yeah. 7 a.m. fufu.
Are you one of those who
would go and eat fufu at 7 a.m.?
Take down fufu?
I think depending on the time I woke up. When I was in tech, there was this woman who used to make fufu till about midnight. So sometimes around 11:15, my roommates and I would get some fufu pie and, really deal with it. Yes. Because...
You sleep?
Who said it? Were you sleeping when you were in university? University, do you go there to sleep? We are learning. You see, thought we were doing something. We were learning. You eat well, you use it to learn well.
Okay.
Thank you very much. But I'm interested to know, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite food? It's come to say salad.
No, it's not. My favorite is rice with beans stew or beans sauce and plantain. Fried plantain.
That's interesting. Yeah. It's not bean sauce. This is bean stew. To brothelize it. Well, what's yours? Tell us, and we'd love to hear what it is. Request information to test RTI law. Middle page.
Yes,
I am, please. Has resilience become Wow.
400,000.
I don't have 400,000. In an environment of climate change and COVID-19, has resilience become another excuse for bias against women? Wow. Okay. So each year on October 15th, rural women around the world are celebrated for their critical contribution to food production and food security. This year, the theme, Rural Women Cultivating Good Food for All. And they're talking about the fact that women have to be resilient, have to be. It's almost like, you know, a done deal. We have to be resilient. We have to keep going, have to keep producing food regardless of what's going on in the world. So yeah, it's always tough. But anyways, Presidents, 2 others to champion election of ECOWAS Parliament members. 16 MMDCs take office in the northern region. NDC communicator slapped with new charges over alleged incest. Okay, so he was charged with illegal abortion and is now facing 3 new counts of defilement, incest, and assault. Remember that story I started at the beginning of this week, the gentleman who had been allegedly sleeping with his 15-year-old daughter and had taken her to have an abortion. So yeah, case continues. Only 16 schools are licensed to run the Cambridge assessment education. So make sure that your the school is licensed before you go and pay some hefty fees. Help eliminate quacks from the system. Minister urges health regulatory bodies. He says, quote unquote, we're in the era of evidence-based medicine where diagnosis remains paramount without good health laboratory systems and the medical laboratory professional. Our health is meaningless and we will all be at risk of a bad system. So that's the Minister of Health speaking. Alleged sodomy teacher pleads guilty to charges. Also, the capital's new event places. Ooh. If you'd like to know where those are, pick up a copy of the graphic. And boxing, Kuwanu signs 3-year contract. Yate wins Best Sports CEO Award. And on the back page, Kolebu sets up medications list unit. And drowned fire officer promoted posthumously and daughter offered scholarship. That's it for the Daily Graphic this morning.
All right, let's go to the Ghanaian Times. Cybersecurity threats don't allow cyber attacks, says SIGA, as it pushes entities to be alert. The story on page 16 says promotion and prioritization of cybersecurity issues will be one of the performance indicators for assessing chief executive officers of state-owned enterprises. The Director General of the State Interest and Governance Authority, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, has said. To this end, he has charged CEOs of SOEs to put measures and structures in place to protect their organizations from cyber attacks. Then over 150,000 hectares of land to be developed into grazing reserves. Kofi Ada passes on at 65, and that's the former energy minister who died yesterday. Police impound 500 motorcycles in Accra. So the police have impounded at least 500 motorcycles in a special ongoing operation in the Accra metropolis. The exercise, which was aimed at clamping down on criminal activities and ensure sanity on the roads, took place at Dansoman, Amasamang, Abokobi, Teshin, Lakeside, Adabraka, okay, so they're repeating in other places. Okay. So Teshin, Abokobi, Adabraka, Accra Central, La, and Peshi. Some riders were arrested for riding unregistered motorcycles, riding without proper documentation, riding motorcycles suspected to have been stolen, riding without crash helmets, and riding without license. And I've counted, I'm sure you've also encountered a number of the operations by the police where these people are getting to a traffic light. The police have stationed themselves at the traffic light and then they intercept them. And in some cases, you see that the motorcycle rider will turn around and drive against the...
I'm not going to talk about them this morning.
The police. Okay. NDC stalwart remanded for alleged sex with daughter. And migrants face tough conditions in Libyan detention after crackdown. WHO, more than 85% of Africa's COVID-19 cases undetected. So a new assessment by the World Health Organization shows that only 14.2% or 1 in 7 COVID-19 infections are being detected in Africa. So 85% of the cases being undetected because we're really not testing that much. And I say it's only God who's keeping us, I believe, at this point, because otherwise, if 85% undetected, 85% were spreading, it would be a really, really sad story. But somehow, COVID hasn't impacted Africa as badly as it has other countries. In Ghana, particularly, has been spared. Guinea's strongman sacked 44 top military officers. So the reason for the decision to sack them was not given, but among the string of officers is General Sekuba Konate, who briefly ran a transition government before organizing elections in 2010. Norway attack appears to be terrorism. So a deadly bow and arrow attack in Norway, which left 5 people dead, appears to have been an act of terror, Norway Security Service has said. And bloodshed in Beirut as gunfire erupts at protests. So that's a sad story. So there were these people who were protesting in Beirut, and then all of a sudden gunfire broke. There were people, snipers on top of buildings, were shooting at them. A number of people died. So Ghana's energy sector attractive, as the energy minister saying that. And almonds can lower cholesterol levels and avert prostate cancer. It's a feature in the Ghanaian Times. So almonds, blofunkatie.
Are almonds blofunkatie?
But what are they? They are blofunkatie.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. But what are they?
Almonds.
Okay, so what are almonds?
Almonds are almonds. I just never thought they were. Blofunkatie is a thing in the thing, right?
Yeah. Blofunkatie. So when you you crack the blofunkatie, the fruit, then you find the nut in there.
Those are almonds?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Wow, okay. This is such a blonde moment. I didn't, okay. Are you sure? Okay, yeah, okay, never mind.
We can look it up.
Yeah.
Together.
Okay.
So moving on. Support schools after absorption into public education system. And Nene Sakite underscores chief's readiness to support development. And Mahama set up neutral body for electoral reforms. And okay, so that's the almonds, and that's the fruit. So the fruit is in.
Yeah. Wow. I never made that I never made that correlation. So hey, you learn something new every day. But I don't actually see them around much anymore. The local ones.
Yeah, as they are. We don't. Well, I don't know where I can find a blofunkatie.
We used to love eating them growing up. You eat the outside until it all becomes hard, and then you chew it. They use a stone to hit it, and then, wow, okay.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So back to the news review. The census spread of the Ghanaian Times. Success of 2020 election historic. That's the EC chair saying that. And the story of Kofi Adda passing on is on page 17 in the census spread. 250-bed Sawa Hospital ready to be handed over to government this month. Sierra Leone IGP pays courtesy call on Ghanaian counterpart. KNUST Hospital Dental Clinic inaugurated. Navy foils pirate attack on tuna fishing vessel. That's good. Ghana received $33.6 million from Japan for 2 projects. And moving on, Treme family NGO donate items to hospital. Okay, review taxes and levies on fuel pricing. COPEC is urging government to do that. And that conversation has come up about the government decision to suspend the stabilization levy for 2 months. And there are those who are saying, no, you probably should just scrap all of that altogether. if you're not using it to subsidize the fuel price. Release the scandalous match-fixing report, GFA. That's in sports. And then FA boards upbeat over Ghana's World Cup qualification. Yes, we wish to qualify. Hopefully we will. 313 farmers received 30,000 mango or palm seedlings from assemblies on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. That'll be it.
Okay, let's go to the Daily Guide. And on the front page, NDC incest guru case. Let me see, how much time do we have? Atu Essien begs to refund stolen money. For example, Fukweku Boahen conspired, says witness. Okay, quick international, Nigeria confirms death of West Africa's IS leader. Congo women sue Belgium over forced separations, and dozens dead after fire at Taiwan tower block. Ghana and UNESCO to build engineering center at KNUST. And some entertainment page. Funny Face joins fight against LGBTQ+. Tonto Dike calls Janimina's bluff, insists on sex tape claims. Like, okay, people. World Remit is a scam. Veteran actor William Addo begs Ghanaians for corn mill. Wow. So veteran actor William Addo is pleading with Ghanaians to support him to buy a corn mill to start a business to cater for himself at 70. The 70-year-old actor, according to he's trying to get Ghanaians to help him to buy a corn mill to start a business at 70. Okay.
Well, if we can, why not? Let's help.
Yeah, but then, it brings us back to the conversation of, the fact that those in the creative arts industry, by the time they get to, they're old, they don't have enough.
I'm going to believe that those who are the young ones now
are watching and learning.
Yeah,
I did a story 2 days ago on the Cosmopolitan Mix. So Dolly Parton, in the 2000 to 2010, collected over $10 million in royalty for Whitney Houston's cover of "I Will Always Love You."
Oh.
Yes.
Just that one.
Just royalty from the cover, from Whitney's cover of "I Will Always Love You," because the systems work.
Yeah.
$10 million in 10 years for a song she did 20-something years ago. Amazing, and obviously she will continue to collect for as long as she's alive.
And then she also has her own song.
Of course, but the point is, when the system supports the rising and growth, then people don't suffer, and talent is not wasted. And I really think we need to start honoring and appreciating the creative arts.
Okay, but it's
industry.
also about our market. So, Dolly Parton's cover of Whitney Houston's song will be sold.
Whitney Houston's cover of Dolly Parton's song.
Okay, will be sold globally.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, our songs.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be $10 million. Even if it's 100,000 CDs, it's still something.
But true.
Exactly. Let's leverage on the power of film to create jobs. Tourism Minister. And Arsenal departure was like a funeral. COVID strikes 2 WAC officials ahead of hard seal clash. Kotoko slip into Kotoks. And Pochettino thought Messi's move was a joke. Okay. That's it for the Daily
Let me do the front pages. The Finder. Court gives Atu Essien 20-day ultimatum to conclude on compensation. Cosmos Energy acquires additional Ghana interests for $550 million. Galamsey affected Western region votes in 2020 election. John Boyd is saying that. And the troubles of marine fishing deeping. Expert outlines urgent solutions to rescue sector. In the Business and Financial Times, front page, GSC, Ghana Stock Exchange, assures market of digital tools for trading and use 948 million CD PSRL cash to cushion fuel prices. That's ASEP saying that. Ecosys Energy buys additional interest in Jubilee, 10 oil fields for $550 million. And Carl Bank secures $20 million to support green projects. And on the front page of the Daily Dispatch, you mentioned 2020 elections. By 1 p.m., 70% of polling stations had completed voting, and we had a 79% voter turnout, which is good. Right, let's get to My Joy Online now and see the stories that we have there.
Okay, Lord Comey says there's no aid to be broken. Anti-LGBTQ plus bill, voting will not be done via secret balloting. Deputy Minority Whip, we remember the last time that happened. It's ridiculous to claim I've been paid to fight anti-LGBT bill. Akoto and Powell. Increased fuel prices. We must not tamper with recess of MPs. Kweku quoting on calls for Parliament to resume. Presbyterian Church stands in support of anti-LGBTQ plus bill. That's according to Reverend George Labry. Kweku quoting again, we will work expeditiously to pass relief to cushion Ghanaians from high cost of fuel. Well, you really need to work very, very expeditiously. Yeah. Money Dublin scheme using the name World Remit is a scam. BOG warns public. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we have sports for you. It's Friday, so of course we have a fantastic fun shows.
All right, so this is still the AM show, and we will be discussing something that is very dear to your heart that has to do with jobs. You know, much as government is the biggest employer, it is unable to employ everyone who needs a job, which is why the private sector comes in. The jobs generated by the private sector is created by entrepreneurs, the people who take the risk to bring the factors of production, land, labor, and capital together to produce something society wants and is willing to pay for it. It's a tough role which comes with many risks. Some entrepreneurs have made it in Ghana, made it really big. Some are struggling, and some others have failed. This morning we have assembled some entrepreneurs who have stories to share with us. So pick up your notebooks, jot things down, and learn something. So anyone is going to introduce the people that we're going to be speaking with this morning, the entrepreneurs.
Okay, so we have Ephraim Spines, who is joining us, Enes Gavo, and Joseph Mojom. Now, these are entrepreneurs who, you know, obviously have their own businesses and are trying to create something out of nothing, really. So let's get straight into that. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, in Israel.
Hi, I can't see you. Okay, there you are. Oh, hello. Oh, 3 fine boys. Let me cross my legs for this one. Oh, I love it. Fantastic. Okay.
So
No, don't interrupt me. Thank you very much. Okay.
No, we should have a lady to balance it.
Okay, go ahead then.
Yeah. So we should have the lady to balance it so I can also cross my leg. Oh, but yeah, let's get into the conversation.
Yes, let me get into the conversation. Thank you very much. So we have Ernest, Joseph, and Ephraim. So let me start with you, Ephraim. What was it that made you decide that presumably you were working with Corporate Ghana?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so what made you decide that you were going to, step out of that role and try and do something yourself?
Right, thank you very much for the opportunity, and then hello to my other guests, Ernest and Joseph. I think there's one thing about starting your own business or entrepreneurship that would not change, trying to solve a problem or trying to solve a challenge that has been identified. So, I mean, working in Corporate Ghana, yes, you develop your experiences and you get to see things that are going on, and you want to take that leap to be able to solve some of these problems. Of course, you can't solve everything, but you identify something that you're kind of related to or with, and you want to take a bold step to solve it. It's not an easy step though, but it is something we all have to do to be able to make society and the economy quite better for all of us.
You're making it seem like it's some sort of, I don't want to say corporate social responsibility. We're making it seem like, okay, there's a problem, I want to solve it, and, let's make Ghana better. But is that really the motivation, or is it really, I want to be able to be in charge and in control, as it were, of my life, of my career, of all of that, and so stepping out becomes the only option?
Yes, it's true. You want to be in charge, you want to take the lead, you want to make some money, but they are all linked to one bank. If the target market that your services and your products are going to, don't see the need for it. You're not in charge after all. You may have a product that nobody even minds, like, I mean, what are you selling? Or what are you giving to us? So if you want to really be in charge, which of course is also one of the cases, then you must be solving a problem. And you said it's a corporate social responsibility. I agree, because when Israel was doing the introduction, he made mention that, yes, we create jobs, we create opportunities for people. Entrepreneurs churn out entrepreneurs as well. So it's also a corporate social responsibility, or in this sense, economic social responsibility.
Economic social, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one, Ephraim. Okay, let me speak to Ernest as well. So Ernest, pretty much the same questions to you. What is it that made you decide that you're going to switch, and become an entrepreneur, if indeed there was a switch at all?
Okay, thank you, Enimwa. So, and good morning to your viewers as well, and good morning, Israel.
I love your background. Can I just say the background is like totally, it's the background for me.
Thank
wow.
you. Thank you.
Okay.
So in my case, I wouldn't say there was a switch. Let's say I've been an entrepreneur literally my whole life. So and it came out of curiosity largely. I've just been curious about several stuff from a very young age, from high school throughout to uni. I have always been curious. Maybe the last full formal job I had was when I was still a student in the university, and I was working alongside in the university itself. So I was a staff and working, and that was also out of curiosity actually. So when I entered the university, they started an ICT directorate, and I approached them and they employed me. So I that was more like my last job. So while there, I still was very curious about several stuff that was going on. So when uni was over, I left. I did not want to join any full-time job. I started exploring, ventured into a technology startup, grew that, was successful to a point, and then expanded into now running a hub and doing some level of growing other entrepreneurs myself. So for me, it's largely been out of curiosity. I've been a curious person. I've been interested in trying my hands on several stuff. So that was what got me venturing into entrepreneurship. And maybe nature as well. That kind of curiosity made me think of a formal job as too restrictive. So I have always thought that if I needed to be in a full-time job, wake up at 5 a.m., dash to the office and close at 5 p.m. or something, that in my mind was not exciting enough. So I thought doing something where I have more flexibility, trying stuff, being in control, partly. Of course, there was some appetite for money, and then there was a lot of appetite for impact. Okay. So generally, for me, it was largely out of curiosity.
So curiosity, control, money, and impact.
Yes.
Okay. Joseph, would you say the same things? Is it the same factors for you? Curiosity, control?
Okay. Good morning to the viewers. I can't really say it's the same for me.
Okay.
I never planned on becoming an entrepreneur.
Okay.
It just happened. Yeah. So after my national service, I taught in one secondary school in the Eastern region. Then my family started a pure water factory. Then I said, oh, then there's something I can handle.
Wait, Joey, where are you? Because you look like you're in some hole somewhere.
No, I'm not in a hole. I'm in a truck.
Okay.
I was going to supply sachet water.
Right. I love your earpiece thing as well. I mean, it's like, you look like a helicopter fighter.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
So I just chanced, it just happened by chance. I never planned to be an entrepreneur, but it just happened. So after I started doing the work for my family, I saw that environmental stuff and water scarcity issues were something I could venture into. So I decided to upgrade myself. So I started learning about water treatment. I started learning about sustainability issues. I started learning about waste management. Then I started helping people in that direction. Yeah, so basically that was it. So just to make the impact in the environment space and also the sustainability space and the climate change arena. So it wasn't something I planned. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. That sounds good. So I wish I could have all three of you at the same time, you know, so that we could just have a conversation. Because I think that what we really want to do with this conversation is understand the challenges that come with being an entrepreneur. Over the past few weeks, you know, a lot of the ministers, people in government, you know, keep on saying, oh, get into entrepreneurship, get into entrepreneurship, get into, and it sounds so glamorous, you know, like, yeah, I have my own job, I'm the boss, I'm like, yeah, you know, but yeah, I mean, obviously it's not. So, Ephraim, let me come back to you and start with the challenges. Tell me about your journey. Tell me about the most difficult parts of your journey. And then tell me if you regret, you know, going into this journey of entrepreneurship, or if you think it's still worth it.
Well, thanks. And let me say the push to go into setting up your own business is quite appealing. The push is appealing, but the real stuff is really not that appealing.
The reality.
The reality, yeah.
The reality is actually not appealing. You see people, and they call them CEOs, business owners, and you're like, well, I want to own my business. But usually we don't follow the story. We only look at the glory, as said. So even from the ideation point, where you're trying to make an idea tangible, it's quite painful. And most of the times you don't do these alone. You need people to be able to develop these ideas. So sometimes you are communicating what you want to do, but the people around you are like, okay, especially if it is a new service or product, people are very skeptical because why don't we stick to what is going on already? In my case, yes, you go to any roadside or any quite populated area, you could get breakfast. Okay, let's put breakfast and food in its entirety on an app. Like Coco and Kose, I have to download an app and order that over an app. It's quite skeptical. So the ideation and getting even people to support the idea and also getting people to buy into the idea, it's even a challenge. So you have people saying that, well, why don't we do it like it used to be? Because they see those people are successful. So why don't you just take the Broadway, I should say, and just follow suit and also get part of the market that the existing players are already in? You're like, no, I want to take the narrow path and bring something so new to the market. So the ideation part is even a very big challenge.
Okay, and then obviously from ideation, you move to the actual implementation of the ideas. And what's that like? Let me move to Ernest with that question. So Ernest, I mean, Ephraim has talked about the ideation and, you know, coming up with all of that. But after the idea, it's the implementation. Now, what's your journey with implementation been like? Especially with the systems that have been put in place, you know, before you can establish this kind of thing and the checks and balances that exist.
Okay, thank you, Anymore. So, continue from where Ephraim stopped. You know, the people factor is big, as Ephraim said, and then you get to face the systems, as you intimated. Now, when you have the idea, you may not have the resources. Now, in our ecosystem, or in Ghana, so to say, there are not a lot of support systems for especially a young person who probably has a brilliant idea and want to start something. You know, I have had the opportunity of experiencing other systems, the US, the UK, and how their systems work. We've all heard about the Silicon Valleys. There are all kinds of those systems across the globe. In Ghana, it was only recently that we started having the tech and innovation hubs spring up. And that looks encouraging as of now. As at the time I was starting out, there was nothing like that. So you are going to be tempted to go rent an office. And if you live in Accra, you know that those kinds of charges could be very ridiculous. You know, so, and issues of finance, in other jurisdictions, you may get, if you have a brilliant idea, you are likely to get an angel investor who who gives you some money to, you know, explore the idea, see if it actually works in real life, you know, so that you can proceed. But in our system, I think somehow even the few people with some money are all used to buying and selling. So if you go to someone and say, I'm going to China to go and bring a container full of some stuff and come and sell in 2 weeks and give the money back to them, they understand that. But not going to someone to go and pitch an idea to them that, oh, I have this nice technology idea, and then I want some money to test for 2 years. We are not going to make any profits. I can't pay your money back in 2-3 years. It's only going to be after 3 years, going to 5 years that we are likely to make some real return and start paying back. I mean, people here don't even understand that. Okay, so those are the challenges and the systems. There's been improvements at, say, the Registrar General Department and all that in terms of the registration. When I started out several years ago, it takes you months to get your registration done. That was ridiculous, but that has changed. That has improved. In terms of when you are done starting out and you even started, one of the difficult areas, and just a few days ago, I hosted on a webinar, I hosted a webinar where we had the technical advisor to the GRA commissioner, and we raised some of these issues of taxation. A lot of young entrepreneurs that start businesses, especially if you have a physical space, the next thing you realize is that the authorities approach, they want to collect taxes, all kinds of ridiculous monies are slapped, and you don't even understand why. You know, so those bottlenecks are there. The lack of, should I call it, infrastructure or facilities or resources to support those with ideas who want to bring them into fruition. You know, because it's a journey. If you have, it could be a brilliant idea. You can be the next Facebook or the next Twitter, next WhatsApp or whatever. You need to go through a process. You need to ideate. You need to do your MVP. You need to test, and it costs money. It's never free, especially for those with ideas in technology. It's not. You know, we all say that, oh, you don't need money to start a business. Yes, but you still need some resources. Even if you have to get a laptop, it may cost you money, or you may have to borrow it from somebody. If you have no one to borrow it from, it's an issue. From other stories we hear from around the world of successful businesses, especially from America, you hear them speak, oh, I started from my dad's garage. And all. In our context,
your dad doesn't have a garage. Exactly.
Your dad doesn't have a garage. How many young people even with parents with garages to start from?
Yeah.
You know, so those become issues. Those are very limiting. The barriers of entry of being an entrepreneur can be difficult. So on the issue you mentioned of government in the drive to resolve issues of unemployment, trying to push people into entrepreneurship. Yes, Ephraim mentioned it. It's always not that it's not that glamorous. You know, we all hear these nice stories. So today I'm on TV. Everyone will see you say, okay, that's a successful entrepreneur, but you have no idea how difficult it can get.
Yeah.
So we need the support systems. Luckily, the hubs, the ecosystem enablers, they are springing up. So there's need to get them well established so that when a young person wants to start a business, the difficulties are reduced. There will always be difficulties, but there's some level of support systems for them to start with and explore their ideas further.
All right, fantastic. And let me move to Joseph. Joseph, you are out there this morning, you know, delivering your pure water sachets, you know, and all of that. What are some of the challenges that you face, your, you know, peculiar challenges in your industry, the things that make it really difficult for you, and how sustainable do you think it is? How long are you going to be delivering pure water sachets?
Okay, thank you for the question, but I want to make a comment about what the earlier speaker just said.
Sure.
Yeah, you realize that in Ghana, we are mostly into importing stuff. When someone has money, I want to import, then get some 2 or 3 shops, then we can sell it. Sometimes I don't blame the people. Our culture is in such a way that when you employ people, we as a people, we don't give our best doing our work. Excuse me to say that. And sometimes people are looking for ways to bring the investor down. So when you are selling an idea to someone to fund you, the person is thinking, this money, am I sure the person will bring it back? Why wouldn't I just go into importation and get my family members and we sell? So it makes it really, really difficult for you to get funds. And coming to my question, in my industry, you need electricity to produce water. So like all manufacturers say, if the electricity tariffs are high, that means your cost of production is going high. If in the dry season there's doomsday, that means you can't really sell your water to make money. So there are a whole lot of challenges in the industry, though it's sustainable. Because if you look at climate change and global warming and water scarcity issues, you see that people are drinking water that is unwholesome. So anyone in that industry, it's likely you make it, because the FDAs and the community water and Ghana water, they are not able to provide the services they ought to provide to the citizenry to the fullest. So anyone in that space, there's an opportunity for you to also impart and get clean water to the people. But the question is whether the country as a whole will recognize that where Ghana is going to in terms of water scarcity issues is a scary thing, and whether global warming is actually affecting even we Ghanaians. Because we talk about global warming and people don't think it's something that is affecting us. They think it's affecting someone somewhere. So it becomes a challenge if you are selling that idea to people that, oh, I'm projecting by 5 years there will be water scarcity issues. And if you have a water company, or if you, I know NGOs like Safe Water Network, that they go to villages, they drill boreholes, they mechanize it, and they sell it to the community members. Or they put their pumps on the river and they treat it and they sell it. Because they've seen that Ghana water or community water cannot do it on their own. So they've entered into the space with their technical know-how and they are supporting. So if the country as a whole and government as a whole will realize that entrepreneurship, and if it makes a chance for others to come into those spaces, we will make it, and Ghana will be better off. Because if not for this job, I would have been searching for a job.
Yeah.
But now I get job offers and I tell the people, no, this one won't help me. Because I remember someone sent me a job offer recently. A very huge payment that they would have paid me. I told the person it's not in line with my plans. But if it's not for this, I would have been searching for job.
Yeah.
So basically, we Ghanaians as a whole, we should be truthful. So that when we are looking for funds from people, they will know that they will not say, oh, we gave our money to these people, they squandered our money. So when we give it to you, you are also going to squander it. Yeah.
All right, so I'd want to come in. I'll stay with you, Joseph.
Yeah.
So for me, the question I want to ask you is, there's one issue or one challenge that runs through for virtually all entrepreneurs, which has to do with managing human resource. And specifically in Ghana, or particularly in Ghana, we have this challenge, as you indicated, where it appears the people who you employ are seeking to bring you down. How do you manage the human resource to ensure that you have people who are dedicated to what you're doing and will support you all through?
Okay, thank you for that question. Okay, initially when I started, I was having a huge problem with that. Because in my industry, you find out that in the rainy season, people are not drinking water, so your sales go down and everything, and people will want to work for you. But in the dry season, your demands shoot up, and your workers, other companies are trying to poach your workers. Okay, so what we did was to try to be training people always. We trained excess staff more than we need, so that in the dry season, we always have people to work with. Because at first, we used to bring people from Kokorudia or places far from our place, and it was huge costs. And in the dry season, they won't stay. When you need them, they won't stay. Other companies will promise them bigger salaries than you can offer. So what we did was to continuously train people. So I always have excess hands, especially in the rainy season.
All right,
so that's how I intended to. Yeah.
All right, so I put the same question to you, Ernest. How do you manage the human resource? And what are some of the things that these people do that are inimical to your business? Ernest.
Thank you, Israel. think we, as a nation, we have a crisis when it comes to attitudes. We don't discuss it enough. But if you just get to run a small business and you realize that we have a crisis. The attitudes towards work are bad. Sincerity is totally absent. Honesty is, in a lot of people, is not in their books. So it's a big issue. You see, you can't run a business with machines alone. Even with all the advancement in technology, with AI, everything that we talk about, you need humans at a point. But the attitudes are a challenge. From people coming from the universities, from older folks, it's just a challenge. So it's been difficult for me throughout my entrepreneurship journey. All this while, it's been difficult. It's been difficult just managing attitudes. Somehow people expect, to be paid, but they do not recognize that their productivity is what makes the money available to be paid. So someone works lousily to work, comes late, wants to skip work several days, but they expect to be paid at the end of the month anyway. People do not exert themselves a little bit just to achieve anything. I'm not too sure how that has become so ingrained in our attitudes, but it's a national crisis. I've heard people blame, especially the universities. I don't know if they are the cause, but it's heartbreaking to find a young person out of university with so much entitlement, with that mentality of entitlement, believing that somebody owes them a job and that comes with a salary. However, they do not believe that they need to work hard to earn it. There's that disconnect where people think that, okay, employ me, let me get the money, but I don't have to work hard for it. So for me, there's some attitudinal deficit in the entire Ghanaian populace. I'm not too sure how to diagnose that, but it's a challenge. Managing humans as a business owner is difficult because see, as a young business owner, you don't have a lot of money. You can't pay people so huge to impress them. Even if you have all the money, you can't give it all to them. But people have so high expectations. But often you find out that they can't even do much for you. So you employ people, they don't exert themselves, you end up doing so much. And that is so frustrating for almost all the businesses that I know. I run a business network as well, the Engine Business Network, that has close to 500 members across the country. And this is serious. You find entrepreneurs changing stuff every now and then. Somebody comes in for no reason, they vanish. Somebody comes in, the next day they are stealing something. Somebody comes in, the next day they are putting up attitude. It's so frustrating. I wouldn't say I have a solution on how this is going to be resolved, but probably from the universities we can start doing something. Apart from EBN, I run a hub at Adenta now where we are trying to build skills, build attitudes, soft skills, encouraging people to know how it works in real life, especially those students in the universities, know what the expectations are for them when they transition into work. Because all these issues we talk about unemployment, no jobs, people holding CVs, walking up and down, there are jobs. I wouldn't lie to you. Of the over 500 people I have in EBN that are entrepreneurs, almost every single of those entrepreneurs, they have a need. There's an area of the business they are looking for somebody to, take up and solve for them. Almost all of them are overburdened. They work too hard. They need people to do specific things for them. Most of them have tried several times to employ people and they come in and they cannot do jack. So these issues of jobs, if only a lot of, especially the young ones, I have difficulty saying this because I'm also a young person. Especially I'm more interested in the fresh university graduates. If only we adjust a bit in terms of our attitude, our commitment to work, honesty, dedication, we would reduce all these challenges of unemployment. Because I know entrepreneurs that are working too hard. They are doing the job of 5 people.
Yeah. Now, Ephraim, Ephraim, I'd want to ask you, how much of this challenge with human resource would you blame on the workers, and how much of it would you say has to do with the entrepreneurs themselves? Because there are people, employees, who also say that the employer or my boss or the owner of the business is not running the business like the way a business should be run. And yes, we understand that the entrepreneurs have challenges, and so when they have challenges, they find a way around the challenge. Could that be one of the problems that's causing the employees to also behave the way they are behaving?
Yeah, I would say, even from the employer point of view, of course, my colleagues also bear the fact that the employer is not always right when it comes to employee management. Sometimes we also engage people, and the understanding that has to go with the engagement sometimes is not well communicated. So in your mind, okay, this is what is expected. In the person's mind, this is what is expected. So that sync is not really there, but that is just one part of it. Now, when you go to the employee side of things, I would even suggest, I don't know how this would work, if the universities could team up with maybe a consortium of entrepreneurs to be able to even touch some of the programs that are being studied in school. I think that might help, because people come out from school and, you know, as an entrepreneur or a startup, you don't have tested systems in place. These are systems that you are now developing. And these people need to understand some of these systems to be able to own the system. Because as Ernest said, you can't own, it's your business, but you can't own it end to end. Someone has to hold an end, another has to hold the other end. So these people have to have the capacity to be able to handle the business as if it is theirs. And the willingness and the commitment to do that sometimes is not there. Of course, there are some good employees out there, of course, in our teams, but in entirety of things, employees are just not, I would say, not ready. As I said, they come in, there's so much expectation because maybe they've heard stories and they want to have a car, they want to have bonuses, they want to have every other thing, and the input that will take the, automatically, if a company gets to a certain level, you don't have to ask for these things. These things will automatically come. I always tell staff, if we get to a certain level, you don't have to come and say that we need a car, we need this, we need it. Those things will come. They are part of plan. I don't know any entrepreneur that will not have those things in plan, but it is at a certain milestone that you are able to say, okay, now we've gotten to a level, we are liquid enough to be able to do A, B, C, D. So I think the understanding and the expectation from the HR point of view, it's quite bleak when it comes to the current employees. And as my colleague said, you don't have a huge budget. So you can't go for very experienced people who might have gone through some of these processes to understand that you need to do ABC up to maybe a J before you're able to get XYZ. So they come and you're like, okay, we need ABCD, which is not available. Now, I also want to quickly say something. I think Ernest mentioned it on government help. We need an available help system. I also believe that as soon as a business is open, there should be the government agencies that are responsible for business development to even follow up to see what is going on. When it's time for taxes and all that, you see them with all their cars and their men at your office without even inviting them. You don't even know how you've been located. But when you set up a business, nobody cares. They only do the registration, come and renew it every year, and that is what it's expected of you. But I believe that as soon as a business is registered, maybe there should be a system to track and see if that business could be supported in so many ways, which of course is a good thing for the economy and the government in power at the moment or at the period. It's a good thing because you see government saying that we have created job opportunity for X number of people. Some of those people, government has no knowledge how they even got the employment, and they don't even know what the employees and employer are going through. So I believe that there should be a system. As soon as a business is set up, there should be some tracking system, checking up on the person, what is going on, and How are they surviving? Can we even help? Can we expand? Can we create opportunities outside of even the country? You don't have to go big before you exploit international markets. No. If your product is good and meets a certain standard, you should be able to get that leverage or hand-holding from all the parties that matter to be able to go even outside of the country.
All right. So I'll bring you in, Ernest. So I've heard all of you talk about the fact that the employees that we have or the workers that we have in the country are a big challenge. And some of you are suggesting that maybe, yes, the universities should do a much better job at, when it comes to training the labor force. But then I'm also asking the people who we employ, who we say are lazy, who we say are dishonest, who we say are stealing, they are not so different, or the crop from which they're coming from, the stock they're coming from, it's not so different from where the entrepreneurs are also coming from. So we can also say that the entrepreneurs are dishonest, they cheat, they also steal. Are we not dealing with the same kind of people? We're dealing with our own.
Well, Israel, I wouldn't say you are entirely wrong. Yes, we are all, in theory, coming from the same stock, but we cannot run away from the fact that the attitudes differ. For somebody to start a business in the first place, they tend to be, let me say, a different animal. Their appetites, their point of view of things tend to be totally different from everybody else. So I wouldn't say entrepreneurs necessarily are the same as the employees. And just let me just add, I'm not saying they are not good. I have very, very, very good young, a very young team, very talented young team. A couple of them I retained from national service. Solid. I think the difficulty has been how much you have to sift through to get the quality. And for most entrepreneurs, you do not have that capacity to do all that sifting. That can weigh on you a lot. I mean, over time, it took me a very long time to be able to put together a system of recruiting quality. Okay, so my point was that maybe if there was a way that process was made a little bit easier for the entrepreneurs, it would have helped all of us. If I don't have to interview 100 fresh university graduates to get 3 national service people, if I cannot rely on the National Service Secretariat to post any graduate at all to me with the view that we can grow them, and this is from real life experience. For consecutive years, we appealed to, or we asked the National Service to post people to us. Israel, you don't believe it. I wouldn't want to describe humans in a particular way, but the kind of materials that came, it was a crisis. So we had to change from that. Now, what happens is that when the service or the academic year ends, we go scouting for talent from, the universities or those who are preparing to do their national service, do series of aptitude tests, do series of interviews to get the quality we want. Then we get them to do service with us. Then if we get quality from them, we retain them, make them full employees and all that. But that's a difficult process. It would have been easier if, for most business owners, they could just sit and say, okay, people are out of school, national service is posting them, let them come. They will come as some level of basic material that we can work with, grow, develop, train, and get them to do what. And Ephraim mentioned something that is important. He said for a lot of the smaller businesses, they do not have, or we do not have fully fledged established systems. So you need people coming in with that understanding. However, it appears for, again, I'm not too sure if the universities are supposed to be blamed. Most graduates that come out are formed, but to do the typical routine work. Let's say if it's a bank teller, look at ID, check amount on slip, count money, give it to them, let them go. That kind of routine work, it's very easy for most people to do. But when you are bringing them and you are demanding a lot of their innovation, demanding a lot of their creativity, demanding that they are the initiators or the ones who get systems to run, a lot depends on them, then we get into difficulties. So that is where my argument is actually. So I don't know if it's from and there are few universities just for not to show bias, they are doing awesome. If you get materials from them, you are helped. I mean, you at least you have somewhere to start from, and then you can grow them and get some good material out of them. So again, I believe there are a lot of young people out there that are talented, but it will be helpful if people know that a lot depends on them, a lot depends on personal development, so that they don't come. It's like, I have arrived. Where are the systems? Just show me what to do. You know, they are not they are not robots. You can't employ somebody and expect that you have to tell them, okay, get up, pick the box, put stuff in it, carry it on your head, go outside. You know, that is not, if there's a problem, you expect that whoever the staff is able to solve it, whether you, the business owner, happens to be there or not. Okay, so we need that level of innovation. We need that level of creativity. We need that level of determination from especially young people who are looking for jobs and get jobs. They need to trust themselves and, you know, work hard, you know, to get businesses running. Again, small businesses do not have fully fledged systems, so you don't expect that you come in, everything is organized, there's a step by step, just do step A, step B, step C, and then it gets done. No, you are likely to be the one to create those steps. So we need to have young people who are willing to create those steps. And luckily for us these days, the internet is powerful. There's so much out there, but it gets frustrating when you ask people to do things and they are like, oh, so what do I? Yeah, there's a lot of information out there that people can use to create a lot, you know.
All right. So it brings me to this other question that I have. And it's something I've been thinking about in recent times. I ask myself, is the kind of entrepreneurial system or systems that we have in place, or the way the business processes that we are using, are they suited to our environment? All right. If we look at our societies, we're using systems that you'd say has worked elsewhere in the West, where there's minimum wage. That minimum wage is decent, where people are a lot more honest. Are we using those systems in our country when really it's not very suited for our environment? I want to bring you in, Ephraim, at this point. Should we be thinking about a Ghana way of running business?
Right. Now there's what we call the local outlook of things. It's global, it's local as well. So even when you're operating as a small business, you need to meet a certain accepted level of standard. Now, when you talk of even minimum wage, some of us in our own small ways, even at the point of starting, said that when you are real, I mean, as a business person, sometimes you need to be very, very realistic. That when you even take the minimum wage, someone who travels like maybe 20 kilometers or even 25, 30 kilometers from work wouldn't be able to even sustain him or herself. Sometimes some of these wages and salary payments are even a big challenge to the employee, because I'm coming to work. My salary is maybe 500 cedis. My transportation is 400 cedis. What am I doing? Am I waking up and coming to work so that the people around me will know that I am doing something? So sometimes some of these things are actually an effect on how the employees behave. So maybe, and I don't know how this could be solved, because you can't say you need a certain level of capital to be able to pay people like 5 times the minimum wage to be able to start a business. So maybe we should have some help from, we'll always go back to government, because whatever we do, government is a bigger player in all these. We'll always go back to government to see if there could be some subsidy. There are some projects by some partner agencies or international agencies where they will even give you interns. They take maybe up to a 50 or 40 or 70% of their salaries, and then you, the entrepreneur, will pay maybe a 50%. That is quite a very good initiative. I don't want to mention names, but there are some organizations that are doing that currently in the country. Can government also do same and say that, well, if you are a startup, as I said, if they follow up and they know that you're a startup, you're starting business, can we help you with maintaining or retaining your human resource? There are some very, very, very good human resource that, because of maybe You know, starting a business takes a longer period. They can't wait to go through the meal for them to for lack of a better word, enjoy at the end of the tunnel. So they come in 6 months, they want to go because they have personal ambitions as well. And if there's a system to take care of them, I'm sure they will even help the business owners to be able to build up the business to a certain level. So yes, we should have a Ghana way of setting up these systems to help business owners, but it should also meet a certain level of international standard as well, so that employees will be somehow comfortable.
Yeah.
In fact, if you're a startup or an entrepreneur, you don't sleep because you don't know what might go wrong. I mean, you are passing the business to the hands of people, but you don't know what might go wrong. So you don't sleep. I mean, it's not an easy level to play at all.
Yeah.
So maybe we should have a Ghana system, but also with some conformity to what the international economies are also doing.
Yeah. And Joseph, I'm talking about the Ghana systems, and I want to come to you because the business was started by your parents, you're saying, and that's how come you found out, okay, it's something that I could also do as well. And I've heard stories about these famous co-businessmen who used their children as part of the business. They were working for their parents, and they learned on the job, and they were part of the business. Is that probably something we should be looking at as a country and developing systems that work for us?
Okay. That's something we can also look at. But in my case, that wasn't actually what happened. What happened was right after national service, when the company was set up, I started managing it. So you even realize that in my case, I didn't have the opportunity of learning under somebody to know what to do and what not to do. And also, I'm coming from an industrial chemistry background and water and environment background. So I did not even have any business background to even know how to maneuver my way around some of those business issues. So it would be good, like my brother Ephraim just said. Like I was reading a story about Coach Otto Pfister, Ghana's coach, that the German government sent coaches to the whole of Africa to provide technical assistance to some countries. Why can't our own government talk to like HR firms, talk to like professional organizations to send people who have already made it, to bring entrepreneurs, professionals to help them out, maybe at the cost of the government, just to provide them with guidelines. If this happens, you should do this. But if you take someone like me, that means I'm not learning on the job.
Yeah.
I'm not learning on the job. I had no business training. If anything comes, I have to learn. I don't have any knowledge about HR laws. So that means I have to follow on people who know HR. But if I can't pay them, if my friends who are in HR are not willing to provide that service for free, is there any government agency I could go to tell them, oh, I want this kind of people. Can you help me employ this kind of people? Can you help me manage them at a fee that I can pay? So those are some of the challenges. Yeah. Yes, we should have our own Ghana way of doing things. Though we are in a global market and we are in a global village. Yes, our own way of doing things would help, but the government must come in to make it sustainable.
Okay, so before you go, I'd want to take this from each of you. And if we could do this in a minute for me. What is that one challenge that you resolved that has helped your business, and which would be a lesson for someone else? I'll start with you, Joseph.
Okay, one challenge that I've resolved. Okay, when I started my business almost collapsed because of a technical issue, and the market did not accept my water because I had some quality issues that I could not detect from the factory. So when I send the water to the market, people will see my water and will start running away from me because the taste, according to them, the taste wasn't okay. I also knew the taste wasn't okay, but I couldn't resolve it on time. So now I'm paying more attention to those details. so that it's not like I'll now struggle to re-enter the market when I'm rejected in the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. And you, Ernest?
Okay, thank you, Israel. For me, maybe the number one thing has been getting the right people to work with. You know, and it's been difficult. It took me some time to figure that out a bit, not entirely, but getting the right people to work with and trusting them to grow. Okay, giving them the opportunity, trusting them to grow, and learning as an entrepreneur to not get overly emotional about the business, being able to delegate a lot of the stuff for people to do. Yes, they will make mistakes, but then you coach them to grow, and eventually that lifts quite a bit of the responsibility off your shoulder. You can supervise, you can mentor people, and it helps them grow. It helps you ease the pressure on you. And so for me, the number one thing would be working with getting the quality humans to work with and trusting them to grow.
All right, and you, Ephraim. Ephraim, you have to unmute.
Yes, I would say all the two that has been mentioned apply to me as well, but specifically, we run on an app, and what we thought would be the best way of delivering the services to the target market, there was this feedback that came, consistently, that they need a certain way of us to do it, and we have to kind of optimize our system to be able to make it very simple and straightforward for them to be able to use. That has been one of the things that really kept us going, I should say. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much to all three of you, to Ephraim, to Ernest, and to you, Joseph, for sharing your stories with us. We're hoping that those entrepreneurs who are watching, and those prospective entrepreneurs who are watching, would have learned something from it, so that when they start their businesses, or they can use that to improve their business. We thank you all three for this business conversation. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Have a wonderful.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, so I didn't get the lady to join.
Yeah, it's all right.
Bye, anymore.
Bye.
Oh, was that Ephraim?
I'm not sure who it was. I think, but
she's expecting one from me.
Yes, of course I am. Really, Ephraim is my friend. He's actually my very good friend.
Is this what you guys are doing?
I had no idea that he was actually coming on the show, and I've been trying to pretend like I don't know him.
Did he have to give you a last goodbye?
Is it paining you? Because it sounded like it's paining you.
And we will connect after the show.
Yes, indeed, we will connect.
Wow, look.
Wow. Israel, really?
What's going on?
Wait. Anyway, let's move on. So, you've had a 5% off, 10%, 15%, 20%, maybe even, when they're doing sales, But 50% off of something is so rare, so rare. However, Celti Realty is offering a 50% discount on their dwelling properties. Prices starting from 210,000 Ghana cedis. It's like buying a brand new car. You can get a house that's the price of a brand new car. Wow.
Yeah.
This offer.
That's half the price of Prado.
Yeah. This offer is for a limited time and it's on selected units. Terms and conditions apply.
So if you're looking for the 2 or 3 bedroom home in the gated community, make sure you call Celti Realty on 055-143-5555. 055-143-8888. Or visit them online at nyamiduagh.com. And the Nyamidua is NYAMEDUAGH.com. So the numbers again, 055-143-5555 or 055-143-8888.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so should we take a break? And when we come back, we're going to have a relationship conversation that's going to put you in trouble this morning. I promise you, it's going to put you in trouble. But yeah, so we're going to do that. What did Jojo say?
Right, so there's a lady who actually had a complaint. Let's listen to it. Let's watch that.
I love my boyfriend very much. He's restored my hope in relationships. But lately, I'm not feeling him. For 2 years, he hasn't outdoored me. I mean, he's been hiding me. He has never posted a photo of me on his social media handles. We have gone for vacations, vacations. And we take pictures, but he never posts them. He'll be posting pictures of his female friends on his timeline and on his WhatsApp profile. He'll be wishing his friends happy birthday and be posting their pictures. But he never posts my pictures. I do post his pictures, but it feels very one-sided. In fact, I'm very displeased. He has introduced me to his family, but I feel insecure. I feel he's hiding something from me, though I can't put a finger on it. I hope I'm not asking for too much.
All right, straight away when you hear this, I'm sure there are many who will say, no, the guy, he's too timing you, he has somebody else.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. Because, if you're going to flip it, and let me flip it, I remember, for example, when I was married, I never posted a picture of my husband once, not even once, on social media. To respect his privacy, because he didn't like that. It didn't change the fact that, we were married.
No, but that's when the person says, I don't like that.
Yeah, the thing is, there are different levels of privacy, and depending on who you are, sometimes you just don't want...
Because this lady hasn't said that I don't want to be posted.
Well, obviously she wants it, but the question that I think she should have with her significant other is how willing is he to put his private stuff out there? There's two schools of thought with this. There's one school of thought, and I've had a lot of people say that there's some things best kept private. Like, let it cook. Ha no ho. Ko hold bena, mofiamo bana. Which means, cover it and let it cook. When it's ready, everybody will see that it's ready. But sometimes when you are cooking something and it's open and everybody can see, that is when the opinion consultation squad of Ghana will now come and be giving their opinion on the project. That is your relationship. Anyway, we're supposed to take a quick break and come and continue this conversation. So get ready for me this morning. I'm on fire. And if Israel is opposing my view, I would rip him to pieces. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back. But you see how sometimes in life we can major in the minors and completely lose sight of what really matters. So whilst, this woman has written this letter and she's been with this guy for 2 years and she's complaining that, he hasn't posted you. You're not complaining that he hasn't married you. You are complaining that he hasn't posted you. Meanwhile, the bigger, what do you call it? The bigger thing
prize
is there. And you won't focus on that and pray so that your ancestors who have said that you will never get married, you will kill them so that you can get married. You are crying that he hasn't posted you. So if he posts you and then he doesn't marry you, is that one better?
No. So they say agro beso if you're not.
The fact that he's posting
you want to see that the agro is sowing.
You feel like somebody posting you is indication of his heart towards you. You haven't dated a player before. He will post you and spread you all over social media. You know what makes me so wary of the public social media relationships? Is the embarrassment when the relationship ends.
True though.
Because now before you go back and go and delete all the pictures of the I love you forever, goals, bae, boo, whatever. Anyway, I'll keep quiet. I'm quiet.
Oh, no, but I don't have a problem posting my wife on social.
Yeah, I don't think most men don't have problems posting their wives. I think most wives at that point don't care whether you post them or not.
Well,
most of the time, the people you hear complaining are their girlfriends.
Okay.
How many wives have you heard complaining that he doesn't post me?
Well, not too.
Because at the Mrs. level, when you've reached, it's like it's legal, it's spiritual, it's everything. So social media is
children involved.
Exactly. Do you think it's an issue of priority, or does it really matter?
No, it could also be that there's some people who, as you're saying, maybe they're not into the social media thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Except where you have a situation where the person may be posting other people.
Yeah.
And they're leaving you out.
Yeah, but the thing is, I do that all the time. I actually feel more comfortable posting my male friends. So I'll celebrate my best friends who are male. You know, I'll put videos of my male friends dancing and being silly. I will very rarely post a picture of my boyfriend. Because I am a fashion.
So that's your...
I mean, that's my position, and I've grown in that position because I used to feel when the whole social media thing started, you know, you can get sucked into the idea of, you know, oh, I want to be, you know, on his status, I want to be on his profile, and, you know, I want the whole world to know that he's mine, and you can get sucked into that. I mean, like the lady said, it's an outdooring, isn't it? So it's like you want everybody to know. But then I realized, you know, as the years have gone by, there are some things that are actually not key indicators of the well-being of a relationship. Because I've seen so many of my male friends who post their girlfriends every day. And when tough times hit, they don't have enough substance in the relationship to stay. And so 2 weeks later, he's posting another girl, you know? And then what? Like, you know, what is the real value of being? I know that there's that question of maybe he has other girlfriends, so he doesn't want to.
That's the main thing. I mean, most people will say, okay, he has other girlfriends and so doesn't want to.
But you know that he can post you and mute and blind the status of the other girls. Like, you see, that's what I'm saying, that you haven't dealt with a boy who is serious like about. You know, you can post something and then tick on the list of the people who see. In fact, he can post something and you will be the only person who will see it. So he's posted your picture and you are the only person seeing it.
No, but that's why some other people will go out of their way and find out from their friends what is on his status.
Then you realize that once you're having to do that, the relationship is broken. Because really, that's a bit extreme. And is that how you measure the value of your relationship?
Well, I mean, but certainly it's a conversation that's being had, and people are having issues with that. Much as, some of us would downplay it or may not see it as an issue.
No, I definitely see it as an issue. I mean, I'm just saying that it's an evolving, you know, thing, and sometimes if you major anyway. Okay, so anyway, but what do you think? I mean, I think we'd love to know what you think about that. So why don't you hit us up on Facebook and tell us how important is it for your relationship to be public, or for you to be on your boyfriend status, or for you to be on your girlfriend status, or on her Facebook page, or on his Facebook page. So why don't we do that?
Yes, so let's do that. And it looks like we have someone to speak with, and so let's hear what the councillor has to say. But I would also want us to open the phone lines. Let's get to speak with some people. Let's hear what they also think about all of the conversation that we're having. It's not just us. But let's go back and then listen to that lady who filed the complaint.
I love my boyfriend very much. He's restored my hope in relationships. But lately, I'm not feeling him. For 2 years, he hasn't outdoored me. I mean, he's been hiding me. He has never posted a photo of me on his social media handles. We have gone for vacations, vacations. And we take pictures, but he never posts them. He'll be posting pictures of his female friends on his timeline and on his WhatsApp profile. He'll be wishing his friends happy birthday and be posting their pictures. But he never posts my pictures. I do post his pictures, but it feels very one-sided. In fact, I'm very displeased. He has introduced me to his family, but I feel insecure. I feel he's hiding something from me, though I can't put a finger on it. I hope I'm not asking for too much.
All right, so we have Reverend Oscar Siripi. He's a counselor. And good morning to you, Reverend Siripi. Hello, good morning, Reverend Siripi.
Good morning, I can hear you. How are you doing?
All right, I'm well. How about you?
By God's grace, I'm doing very well.
Should this be an issue that your partner is not posting you on social media or not outdooring you?
It should not be, but it can be. Depending on the person you are dealing with.
Okay.
See, when you are not married, and you are in a relationship, there's no guarantee that that relationship will end in marriage. There's no guarantee.
Yeah.
People change. People have dated people, they didn't marry them. So when you marry and you are expecting some things from the person you are in a relationship, or when you're in a relationship, you are expecting some things from the person you're in a relationship, as if the two of you are already married,
Yeah.
you have a problem. Okay, if the guy does the things that she's looking for, and eventually they don't become a husband and wife, what happens? So when people are in a relationship, sometimes they demand too much. Caution is not the same as marriage. Somebody seeing your parents and knowing the family members, even at the point of what we call knocking, it is not marriage. It's not marriage. So there are things you cannot do, or there are things, if you want to do, fine. If you decide not to do, it's not a problem. So the guy is not doing anything wrong. It is that the lady is demanding too much. And at this point, she must understand that she is not the wife of the guy, and the guy is not her husband. Simplicity. If the guy thinks that, okay, I want to post her pictures, fine, like what she's doing. But she must understand that she's not the wife of the guy, and anything can happen. Look, my brother, I'm a rebel minister, not a council. We officiate marriage. There are instances that even a day before we come to the church, or the day before we go to people's families to go and do what we call the actual marriage or the traditional marriage, people say, look, they are no longer interested, and they move on. So what about that? A day before they are moving to go and do the traditional marriage, whatever we call it, people decide and say that, look, I see that I'm no longer interested in this marriage. I want to move on. So until the day the marriage is consummated, the two of you are not a husband and wife. And there are things that if people decide not to do, you can't blame them. So this issue of I'm insecure, and we have seen our family members that's introduced me, I post his pictures. You want to do that. But if he decides not to do that, don't complain.
Okay, so Reverend Siripi, clearly this lady will be feeling insecure. What is it that the gentleman has to do to reassure her, or he should just let things be as they are?
If the only thing that is making her insecure is because the guy is not posting a picture, then there's no problem, because she has to then sit down with the guy. All she wants is assurance that, look, even though I'm not posting your pictures, I'm in for the rest of my life. And there are people, they do that. Sometimes people do that to prevent certain things from happening. They want you to be at the back, and they want to keep you. They know what this person is going to be, my wife or my husband. Okay, so I know what I'm doing. She should sit down with the guy and have a discussion. And once the guy gives her the assurance that, look, I mean, in this thing, move on. But you must understand that this guy is not my husband. And if I'm demanding too much from him in terms of posting my pictures and all those things, then you are creating problem for yourself. At this material moment, the guy is going to see a parent, right?
Yeah.
They are on course, right?
Yes.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
As to whether the guy is posting your pictures on social media or not, it's not important. It's not relevant. It's not relevant to the relation you are having. It's part of it. But if the person decides not to do it, you move on. And I'm saying that until the day the marriage is consummated, you are not a husband and wife. And that is why if you are in courtship, preparing to marry, you don't have sex with people. You don't go and sleep in their homes to cook. You don't go and do some things. You don't behave as if you're already married. And that's what we are doing. This is what is happening. People who are not married are already behaving as if they are married. And those who are married are behaving as if they are not married. And that's the problem we're having.
That's a very interesting problem.
Yes, those who are married are behaving as if they are not married. So the guy is married, he comes to the office, and he doesn't want people to know that he's married. Okay? And they want to do some things that are not right. And those who are not married are clinching on people as if they are married. Okay, they are behaving as if they are married. They are looking for what you call chop money. Everywhere you go, you have to introduce me. They are all over them. You are not married. And anything can happen, Israel. But anything can happen. I'm speaking from the point of knowledge. That until the day the marriage is consummated, anything at all can happen.
Indeed, until the ink is dry, there's always room to change your mind, isn't there? So we get that. You know, I was listening to T.D. Jakes a few weeks ago, and he talked about the place of acknowledgement in a relationship or in a marriage. And, you know, acknowledgement for us in our time was, you know, going to see the parents, you know, meeting the family and all of that. Acknowledgement for the millennial is, you know, being outdoored on social media. It's a way that your presence is acknowledged, your role is acknowledged, you know. So perhaps the needs that we have, you know, in our generation are quite different from the needs that, you know, are being expressed in this generation.
Is that need making marriages work better now?
Well, it's not making marriages work better now, but are you discounting the need that people have for
I'm not discounting that. But I'm saying that if the person decides not to do that, as long as the person is serious about the relationship, and you can see progress, you can see that the two of you are moving towards marriage, you should be happy with that. Because eventually what you're looking for is marriage, not posting pictures on social media.
Yeah, okay.
That's the bottom line. The bottom line is that eventually we become a husband and wife. So you can post my pictures on social media million times. If we don't marry, what happens?
Yes, well, that's the same question that I was asking Israel this morning, you know, about that. A lot of people say that, you know, when men hide, and there's this meme on social media that women are usually the first ones to post about their relationships, and men usually take a longer time. There's also the concern that when a man is not posting you, then maybe he's hiding you from, you know, from people or from his family and all of that. How important is not keeping a relationship hidden, but keeping a relationship private? How important is that in the journey towards, you know, getting married and becoming a successful family?
Okay, so the two of you date, and then you move into courtship, and then you make progress, then you study the person, then you know the parent, and then you progress to go and do what we call the knocking and all those things. In the midst of that, what you are looking for is transparency from the person. What you are looking for is commitment to what the person we are doing. What you are looking for, that the two of us we have the plan. You can see that we are working towards marriage. That should be the most important thing to you. Okay? That I can see the guy I'm dealing with, I can see the lady I'm dealing with. This is the person I want to deal with. The person is transparent, the person is committed, the person shows me enough care. Okay, and I tell people that when you are in courtship, you walk in love. When you marry, you fall in love.
Okay, what's the difference?
When you are in courtship, because you are not married, you walk with wisdom. Because anything at all can happen. When you marry, now you are married, so you give everything out. You give in your all.
Okay.
So then you fall into it.
Okay.
So because you are married.
Okay.
But when you are not married, you walk in it with wisdom.
Okay.
So that when something happens, you don't suffer excessive emotional pain. Okay. Unfortunately, when we are in courtship, we fall in love. When we marry, we walk in love.
Yeah, well, everything is enough. Say.
And because now backwards, and no one can suffer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have to let them understand again. The reason why they are suffering, the reason marriages are not working, is that we are going against what marriage is.
Yeah.
It's like us insurance and insurance, and you want to swim against the current.
Yeah.
You have problems, and that's why we have a problem. So people must understand that when we are in courtship, we are not married, and there are some things we don't do. So that when we break up, or it happens that we don't marry, I don't suffer excessive emotional pain. But when we marry and we are married, that's why people have a lot of sex when they are not married, and when they marry, they don't want to have sex. What is that?
Indeed, what is that? I agree with you with my whole heart.
Yeah, what is that? When you marry, the thing is for you 24/7, and that is where you have to have a lot of sex, and emotionally you bond spiritually with your wife, and the two of you are in it together. People have sex when they are not married. And then when they marry, say, oh, I'm tired, I'm working. But when you were in courtship, you were working. What is that? So we see we have gone against the standard or the norm for marriage. And once you do that, you see the law of gravity. It's only Jesus that went against the law of gravity. Right? When you throw something, you fall down.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can't say that I'm tough. I'm Israeli. I work at multimedia. So I'm going to stand at the top of multimedia building and jump. Once you go against that, you suffer.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm saying that when you're in courtship, calm down. Look at the progress the two of you are making. Look at the mannerism of the person. His or her commitment. His or her care for you. That relationship must not be one-sided. But if the problem you're having is only because the person is not posting your pictures, then that's the problem.
Okay, thank you so much, Osofo, for joining us this morning.
When they are in courtship, they should walk in love. When they marry, they should fall in love. And when they are in courtship, America behaves as if I'm married.
Yes,
please. When I'm married, America behaves as if I'm married.
Yes, please. Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Reverend Siripi. So we'll take a few calls. We have Kwabena calling from Asofa. Hello, Kwabena.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning.
So good morning. What's your take on the issue?
Well, I think the lady should focus on what really matters in a relationship.
Right.
I think that would be what her partner shows her. You know, I think that's more important than what her partner shows others. You know, the other day I learned about the 80-20 rule. You know, with that, we talked about how people are actually getting a lot from their partner, but then they are focused on what they are not getting.
Okay.
So maybe she should, if her partner is respectful, have time for her, you know, all those other things are very important.
Yeah.
And if she's getting that, maybe she'll not focus too much on what he's showing.
So she should be content with what she's getting.
Yeah, I mean, she needs to take a good look at the relationship, you know. She can't get everything. Just to figure out what really matters.
All right. Thank you very much, Kwab. Now we have Righteous calling from Keta. Hello, Righteous.
Good morning.
Good morning.
In fact, the lady in question, I think she's rather making mistakes. Because the first question she has to ask herself, does the guy understand her? Understanding is the most important thing in a relationship. Posting of pictures has nothing to do with your relationship. The guy might decide to post a lot of your pictures, but at the end of the day, he will be doing different things which you might not know. But the question is that the guy is able to introduce you to the family. Now ask yourself, does the guy understand you? Does he love you? What are you expecting in the relationship? Is the guy to the cause or not? I think these are some of the questions we need to be asking.
All right.
But these days, most of our late guys, we believe in social media, and sometimes the moment you see a lady today, tomorrow that lady will pack and be in your room, or maybe, I don't know, she'll be spending the whole of the days in your room, giving herself. At the same lady, you see her, she'll be at a different place and say, oh, this guy is not serious. It's not about that. Being in a relationship is a serious business.
All right.
So my advice to the lady in question is that, first of all, the most important thing is that does the guy understand her? Does the guy care, have her in heart? What is her expectation? And what is she also doing to help the guy so that the relationship will move forward? Not posting of pictures. Posting of pictures they asked you to do. That's this thing. I think she got everything wrong.
All right. Thank you very much, Righteous. We have David calling from Obasi, and David is going to be our last caller. Hello, David.
Hello, Israel. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I agree so much with Reverend Oscar's contribution. I think most ladies and gentlemen alike also lack maturity in relationship. You're not married yet, so why advertising and posting on Facebook and all that? The truth is that there's going to be a breakup along the way, and then most of the guys have been seeing you, the lady, or DP with that guy, so they are thinking you're already going out. And by the time you realize she's 32, 33, 40, she's not married. All because she was just flaunting the guy here and there. So for me, I think married people should be encouraged to be posting each other on social media, not people who are in a relationship culture.
All
they
right.
should just wait patiently for the right time. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, David. And thank you all for calling into the show. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll bring you a showbiz. Stay tuned in.